Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining our webinar today about NEC's phone system announcement and why now is the upgrade time for your phone system. We're going to have a chat line running on the side for questions as we go through the webinar, and really just try to keep it somewhat casual and go through some of the slides and so on that we have set up for you. We'll be having a follow-up session in the week to come. Should you have any questions that weren't answered today, we can also send those out to those who have registered for the webinar. So I'd like to bring up my slide deck here and go ahead and do that. All right. So basically, what prompted this is, of course, as we all know, the phone systems around the world, have been installed for years and years. And so, of course, we have quite a base of NEC customers here in the Kootenays, in BC and Alberta as well. And we wanted to kind of communicate, what NEC is talking about and really where that's coming from. I put together a bit of an agenda as well. So today, basically introduction, NEC's announcement, and what does it really mean for your business? What options are available, as well as the roadmap to the cloud. And then we'll talk briefly about what the competition is doing. And for those on the webinar who haven't actually met me in person, myself, I'm the founder of All7 IT, previously known as RBBS Telecom. In 2007, we renamed the business because it was a bit of a tongue twister, and All7 IT is more in line with us being available 7 days a week to serve the Kootenays with respect to their IT needs. Actually, in my prior life, before starting this company back in 2012, I worked for the regional NEC dealer, JSL Phone Systems. I started there in 2006. As a communications consultant, working on the different NEC PBXs. It's a term for the old telephone systems. And we put in hundreds of these NEC phone systems. We actually moved a lot of people away from the old TELUS and Bell, what we called Centrix at the time, where you actually didn't own your phone system. You actually had to pay rent on each individual telephone set. And so by going to your own phone system, it was a huge win for all those people who basically had been paying so much fees all those times and whatnot. And so, we were basically helping people save money by moving to a phone system. And today, the future of the cloud is that in a way, you don't have to own your phone system yet again. Here we are 25 years later. You don't necessarily have to own your phone system, but it does make things a lot simpler, because in the end you have a phone system where you're paying for updates and you don't have to do upgrades anymore. It's running in the cloud, and then you have actual telephone sets on the desk that actually that you maintain, and they may be built like tanks and last quite a long time, right? And that's what NEC is really known for, is having robust technology. And some of the newer competitors, they're making their telephones in China, and these guys are all the newcomers and so on, and they definitely are kind of going through the same sort of learning curves that we experienced with NEC 25 years ago, when they first came out with their phone systems and so on. And so myself, as I said, I started with JSL back in 2006. And so that's about 18 years ago, and became NEC certified and worked with those systems for a number of years, and have continued to keep myself certified. And even when our company bought out JSL Phone System, when the owner and founder of that company, Wolfgang, retired, we continue to support and service those NEC customers out there. And so basically, NEC has flown through and through with me for years. However, as a PBX and telecom person, I've been working with all the different kinds, Nortel, Cisco, Polycom, as well as Panasonic and Toshiba over the years. And bring a different perspective than some of the newer green salespeople might from the service providers. So let's dive into NEC's announcement. NEC has really, since the pandemic set in, some years ago, and now we're in a different, in a much better world. But initially, everybody had to work from home, and so NEC really pushed forward with the Univerge Blue Cloud phone system, which enabled things like chat and meetings and voicemail transcription and using soft phones, on your mobile cell phone and or on your computer to make phone calls. And so back 4 years ago when they introduced that, they had quite a big uptick in people actually moving to the cloud. And what we had seen over the years is that it became more and more challenging for them to create the premise phone system equipment. And when I say premise, we're talking about the phone system box that you bought and own, and it's running in your back room and connecting all the different desk phones throughout your office. And so essentially what NEC has done is they've come out and said, hey, there's this way that we can take that older style phone system you have and we can make it part of the cloud. So it can work with cloud soft phones as well as with, the desk phones that you already have. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And with the trend in the industry and everyone going to the cloud, more or less a subscription service, yet again, versus actually owning it and only paying when you need a repair, NEC sort of had to build a roadmap to be able to support that. And so what NEC has come out with is the last day to buy NEC on-premise phones. These are not the cloud phones. It's December 31st of this year. So for example, we have customers out there who have an NEC telephone system and they actually want to, keep it running and they like how it's working. They just need a telephone. So now would be the perfect time to purchase some spare parts because of that last day to buy parts being December 31st. There's also a last day to buy the CPU upgrades, which allows us to make it bridge or cloud capable. And then we're also talking about, the support subscription. So similar to like computers, when, your Windows needs an update, in order to continue to get the cybersecurity patches and or bug fixes, phone systems are really a computer as well. You may think of it as an appliance like your washing machine, but it is more like a computer that needs to have that operating system updated. And so when you have a subscription, you're entitled to get those annual updates to the system and get support from NEC's technical support center, through us as an NEC partner here in Canada. And so the last day to renew the software assurance support for those NEC phone systems is about a year from now, December 31st, 2025. So for customers who have an older style system with desk phones and so on, that actually upgrade the CPU, it's a chip that goes in the back room, that microchip. When you upgrade that, you can actually continue to buy software licenses, maybe more voicemail boxes, maybe you want to put some other features on the system. And NEC is going to sell that to the customers who have the new version of the CPU until March 31st, 2030. So about 5 more years. So there's a bit of a roadmap when it comes down to like NEC's support life cycle for these systems. And so if you're one of the customers that's phone system is, maybe within the last 10 years old, this is perfect for you. You can enable it for the cloud, upgrade that chip in the brain, and so on. So let's kind of get into that. So really, what does it mean for your business? So if you think of a phone system, earlier I mentioned, if it's like a washing machine, once you've bought it, you hope it's going to work for its function until it needs repair. It's going to wash the clothes, right? If it's a phone, you hope it's going to ring and you can answer the call. Right? And really, as technical people here in this team, we dread to think of the day when you have to pay a subscription fee just to use the washing machine. Imagine you walk up to the washing machine and it says, hey, you didn't pay your bill this month, you can't use the washing machine. So, that's kind of where we are. That's the crossroads we're at in the telephone industry. And so at the end of the day, like what the question is, well, what is in that subscription fee, and is it really worthwhile? Well, NEC has built a roadmap for you as NEC customers that helps you decide how you want to move forward. On one hand, you can upgrade. On the other hand, you can continue to use what you have, right? And then later upgrade to the cloud. So that's really what it means for your business, is that NEC isn't just saying, hey, we're done. They're saying, hey, we have a roadmap. There's a road, even like a runway. If you're taking off like an airplane at the airport, they have lined that up for all the NEC customers, because they realize not everyone is going to jump into that cloud subscription and take advantage of soft phone and voicemail to email transcription and headsets and so on, or even cloud desk phones and so on, right? And we realize that too. So it's very important that we lay this out for you so you could decide which way you want to go as a business. So really the options come down to option one is status quo. You take the risk with your older phone system, keeping it running for as long as it can, spare parts and so on. And number two options really are upgrading your phone system's brain, and then you get more support, from manufacturer, local partner like us as well. Option three is really you upgrade to the cloud bridge and you give the soft phone capabilities, the chat, the meetings, voicemail to email, transcriptions, and so on. All the things that you think of when you think of the new cloud-based phone systems. And or you replace your entire phone system with a full cloud phone system, and that puts things more on the internet too. So if you have internet issues or a network problem, maybe your firewall needs upgrading, there's potentially other hidden costs, which we frequently find. We'll get a call from someone who's upgraded to a TELUS phone system or a Rogers phone system, and it sounds really great from the sales guy, but then the crate shows up and they say you got to build your own phone system and you got to call your IT department to upgrade your computer network. So oftentimes we're getting called in to help with those types of scenarios. So really, if we further go into the status quo, if you have a phone system with NEC, maybe you've even bought it in the last few years and it seems to be doing the trick, then we would recommend buying into our spare parts pool. Another option is we can sell you your own parts. You don't have to share that with anyone else, and you can have them tucked away in your office. Things that we're thinking about is potentially a CPU, maybe a power supply. Maybe we also talk about having a spare reception phone or whatnot. So there's a few things like that. When you buy into our spare parts pool, we've actually built that here. We've actually paid as a company to buy it, and now we warehouse it and so on, so you don't have to have it rusting in your closet. And so essentially the spare parts pool, we have a price that starts at $69 a month on a 12-month agreement, and labor would be only billed to you when something needs to be replaced. So it's sort of like an insurance policy to keep your older NEC system running. And if there are other brands available too that we can help with, we have spare parts with Panasonic and some Toshiba and so on. But as things break more frequently and people are not upgrading, these parts become few and far between. And we find that even sometimes when we try to get something off of eBay, it's really hit and miss whether or not it's actually faulty or whatnot. It's just too worn out. So at least what we've got is new and or been tested. So let's talk about the other option, upgrading the brain. I call it the brain. As you know, in the old days with a computer, sometimes you're going to upgrade the chips inside, upgrade the RAM, upgrade the hard drive. With the phone system, we have a CPU that has all those pieces on it. And so if you think of a phone system, maybe it cost $20,000 when it first was installed. With the brain, maybe that component's only $2,000 or $3,000, right? So instead of replacing the entire phone system for $20,000, you're just replacing that key part, right? And NEC's phone systems typically have the voicemail built into the CPU. So that also covers, the voicemail, like the automated attendant menu. Maybe it's playing music on hold for you and also taking messages and so on. And for customers that don't have voicemail to email today, with the SV9100, you'll actually get voicemail to email with this upgrade. It won't be typed out, but it'll be attached as a file that you can listen to on your mobile phone or on the go or whatnot. And that is an option as well for the basic, what we call 2100. It's a smaller NEC phone system that's out in the market as well. So basically upgrading that CPU brain, we replace the one chip, we send a technician out to work with the programming and so on. And then, of course, we're talking about like updates to the software. And so there's 3 months of software updates included with the new brain. And up until the end of next year, you could renew the software subscription all the way up to 2025. So what that does is it helps you get the next update. So thinking like a computer, Windows 10 to Windows 11, or Mac OS X to the next version, really it's the same thing with the NEC, and that can help with your cyber insurance policy as a company when you tick off the box that the computer network is receiving updates within 30 days and so on. Same sort of thing applies with your phone system, because it's another one of those things that's just running and connected to the computer network in the back room. We want to make sure it's been updated and it's not got any cybersecurity holes that could potentially lead to problems for your business. So that is that option, upgrading the brain. And then really we talk about the roadmap to the cloud. So once the brain has been upgraded, basically we take that NEC phone system, the parts and so on, and we bridge it to NEC's Univerge Blue Cloud, which gives you soft phones. We get the chat messaging, meetings, voicemail to email. You can see if people are on the phone, and transcription, really. And those are the things that get turned on. And really that's a one-time cost to upgrade the CPU plus a monthly subscription per user to enable those users on soft phone and chat and so on. And the neat things is once you're already halfway there, kind of like you're using your old parts with the cloud, if the old parts really did break down and couldn't be repaired, then you can go full cloud with less effort. It's less of a scramble. You're not going to spend weeks waiting for parts, and you're not going to spend, so much time finding a vendor and getting things rebuilt and working out the kinks. You're halfway there already by being partly to the cloud. And some people are going to say, hey, you know what? I'm not interested in another chat application. Some companies, like as a Microsoft partner ourselves, we work with some customers who have fully embraced Microsoft Teams. We've got some customers who are using Google, and also some customers who are using Cisco WebEx and so on. And so what if your business is using Microsoft Teams for chats and meetings? The neat thing is that NEC Univerge Blue, the cloud I was talking about, and their partner Intermedia, they actually work together with Microsoft Teams. And so when you load up the Microsoft Teams application, you're doing all your chat, you're doing your meetings there, and there's actually a button to call someone. And so you can have it so that button triggers the NEC phone system through the NEC cloud phone system and makes telephone calls. So it's kind of like one experience for the user. And the other option is actually just to run two applications, the NEC app and the Teams app side by side. But what we do is we actually turn off chat and we turn off meetings in the NEC side so that it doesn't confuse your users about the two different options. Additionally, we're talking about AI all the time. And so, if you do decide you want to go with the NEC side, the NEC's AI could help you write messages, save you time, in kind of crafting that perfect message and so on. And, Microsoft Teams has that as well. So it just depends on which way you're going, you have the ability to benefit from AI. And we have some customers who say, you know what, I don't want AI in my business. Those kinds of features can actually be disabled and turned back on whenever your business is ready to embrace what we call generative AI. Lastly, today, I wanted to talk a little bit about what the competitors are doing. So over the years, we've seen lots of different types of telephone systems out on the desk. And probably the most famous one in Canada that disappeared, but we still see them time to time, is Nortel. And Nortel's phone systems, they were built like tanks, similar to NEC. The equipment is robust. It really works well. And however, there are some sort of components that do break down more often. So sometimes those parts were available and kept going. But reality is that Nortel, that Canadian phone system manufacturer, is no longer business, closed out years ago. Additionally, Toshiba closed out of their business. Panasonic closed out of their business. These guys still are involved in a lot of other markets. They're just not involved in phone systems. And we've seen a big shakeup in the market with others. Like we had a brand called ShoreTel that they were bought up by Mitel. We had Avaya circling bankruptcy several times now, and even their future is kind of unknown. We've got Poly, which used to be called Polycom, and they're bought by Poly, and now they're bought out by HP. And really, the products that we were used to and we trusted, the solutions, they've been shuffling around, and the staff that used to work there aren't there anymore, and the products are different. The support is different. And so these are the traditional phone system vendors. And so today you have NEC, who's said, you know what, we don't want to just abandon ship and let everyone go. We wanted to build a roadmap so customers can, buy support, they can upgrade their brains of their phone systems, and they can go to cloud if they want to. And they've partnered with Intermedia to do that. And then you have the other sort of IT companies out there, such as Microsoft and Cisco through WebEx, that are also selling their cloud phone systems. And we've seen lots of changes with them over the years, but they're pretty popular with the IT staff. And so as a company, we're also working with them because some customers would like to have a solution that's based on the same sort of thing that their IT equipment is. But they're also not the traditional telephone company. So a lot of the features that we're used to and so on don't exist. Where they come and they say, hey, come get my cloud phone system, but it's only got the 8 features that, compared to the 100, 200 features that have been in use for the last couple of years, couple decades actually. And so what I wanted to do is briefly bring up my share screen and walk you through what we put together with respect to other options. Because some customers, they love their NEC phone system, and we fully support it. But there are going to be customers who say, you know what, I'd like to try something new. It's been a long time with this NEC phone system. What else is out there? So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So over at the all7it.ca website, we've got under our solutions tab, our phone system section where we broke out a number of the top phone system manufacturers that we're working with. And so Univerge Blue is the NEC cloud phone system. Here you can learn more about the app as well as what that looks like on your computer, doing chats and so on. And we've built a nice video working with NEC Univerge Blue, talking about what the Cloud Bridge brings for your phone system. So starting here, this is a great place to learn more about the NEC Univerge Blue solution. Then what we have as well is eMetrotel. eMetrotel is what I call the new leader in on-premise telephones. eMetrotel was founded back in 2012 by people who came out of the Nortel phone system business. These are people who were the engineers at Nortel. people who worked with Avaya, and so on. These are the real experienced people who said, you know what, these old phone systems are still going to work, these old pieces of equipment, how can we enable that? And so eMetrotel, they created up their green migration initiative that enabled people to reuse old telephones. So for example, if you have a customer that has an old Panasonic phone system, or a customer that has an Avaya, or maybe your customer has a Panasonic cordless even, or if there's even old Nortel telephones. Any one of these telephones could be configured to work with the eMetrotel box. So the older telephones continue to work, but we're just replacing it with a different brain. And so today, this company is not supporting NEC's telephones, but we actually do see, and we've heard through their YouTube channel, that they're working on compatibility for some NEC telephones out there. So as a company, we've embraced the eMetrotel solution, so that because it works with pretty much any of these older telephones, gives the customer flexibility. And so, maybe you're a business that bought another business and they have an older phone system. This might be the right fit for you. As you can see, there's lots of different brands supported and working with eMetrotel. So even though the desk phone might be different in one building, and then maybe different in another, actual programming and soft phone and voicemail to email is all eMetrotel, and their box in the back room is something like this green box that basically runs the phone system software. Additionally, we have what we call Cisco WebEx calling, and you may hear from Shaw Cable, Rogers, Bell even, and sometimes TELUS. They encourage people to go with a Cisco phone system. As I mentioned, this is more of an IT company, and they also do meetings and so on, very similar to Microsoft Teams. Cisco is one of the biggest in the world, and so they have solutions available from everything from hospitals to universities and so on, and it's a pure IP phone deployment. So you have to buy brand new telephones working with this type of system versus using your existing equipment. But we have a number of customers who are using Cisco, and they're quite happy. So it's a decent solution. Additionally, there's Microsoft Teams Phone. Microsoft Teams is a pure cloud solution. They don't have a box in the back room, so if the internet goes offline, then they're totally offline. Similarly, they have the chat and the meeting solution, and they do work with some different IP phones, but they don't work with the older digital phones. So unlike eMetrotel, where they can work with another vendor's desk phones, Microsoft Teams can only work with the newer style IP telephones. In case your business hasn't upgraded to those, that would be an additional cost. But Microsoft Teams is designed around being a chat program and a click-to-call. So a number of the older traditional telephone features are not quite perfect, but they're constantly developing. Just like any cloud solution, people are building new features and so on. And so this website kind of walks you through a few of these good options available from the biggest competitors down to companies like eMetrotel, which are really the innovators, the engineers that are working on extending the life of the existing equipment. Right? As you know, a lot of the telephones do last forever. Right? So I'll just turn off the share screen there. Go back to the main window. So I'd like to open the floor to see if anyone has got any questions here. And we don't have any questions. All right. Okay. Yeah, actually, so no questions so far. If you have any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. I'll be around for a couple more minutes here. But what I will do is I'll draw from the hat here on a few people to win a Tim Hortons gift card. And let's see, we've got Jennifer and Chris K, Jennifer S. You've won a Tim Hortons gift card, as well as we've got Alan. Alan, you've also won a Tim Hortons gift card. So we'll be in touch with you after the webinar to line up getting one of those gift cards over to you. Okay, so if there's no questions, I just might say thank you so much for attending this webinar here with us today. We really, we're pleased to talk about it. I know my team's been working, preparing this and all the slides and whatnot. And so if I can leave something with you is that, as a partner, All7IT here in Cranbrook, British Columbia is interested in helping extend the life of your system. And as well, we can talk to you about other options as I've outlined, that might be better suited for your business. The NEC is a robust solution with a good roadmap, and we understand that it may not be the right fit for everyone. But I like to think that we're more vendor neutral here at this business, just focused on each individual business's needs. So happy to talk, and feel free to drop me an email. I'll be happy to chat with you. Thanks so much for coming. Bye for now.